a little cold here. Wait a minute. I got it all cockeyed. Okay. That's better. It's a wee bit cold, and I've been searching for the mouse for my laptop so I could see the chat. Who's here? Val, hello. Oh, you're welcome. I thought you might like that one. The intent was to get to everybody, but that didn't happen. Oh, so has everyone had a good Christmas and a happy New Year? If you're new to seeing my channel, I'm Nancy from Thisoverstuffedhouse. As you can tell, this room is the warehouse. For those of you that like science fiction shows, I jokingly call it Warehouse 13 because I inherited 3 estates in very short order. And now I've also helped do a house clean out in October that basically messed up my feet. Hi, Warren. So I have not been on in a while. I have been trapped upstairs in Mike's room. And you can't do a live at 11 o'clock at night while he's snoring in his bed. That would not work. So you guys haven't seen me in a while. I can get up and down the stairs. I have to kind of limit it. I stood for the entire scout meeting last night, and my foot is not happy. But I start physical therapy on Monday. So yeah, for where I'm at, Val, we're right on the line. Because this happens all the time. It comes up to the Philadelphia area, to the area below Philly, and it kind of like rides this little line, whereas Chester County's on this side, and we're on this side, and my sister can get snow, and we'll see nothing. And it just kind of, and we just get rain, and it just bypasses us altogether and goes north of us, hits top edge of Philadelphia, and then heads up. So, yes, computer, I know there's no power in the laptop because I haven't been down here in 2.5 months. Oh, wake up. Of course, it wanted to do an update when I turned it on. I'm waiting to see for snow to see what Gimli will do because he hasn't seen snow yet. They had no idea what was going on. There's a video, short one, where I let them out on the kitchen porch roof, and they were discovering some bigger snowflakes that were coming down. And they didn't know what to make of those at all. So I can't wait for the first time he goes out the door and there's like 3 inches out there. I will try to film it, but he is a master escape artist. He basically knows that he can just ignore Gary and right out the door. He's better at it with Mike and I, so we let him out during the day. He usually hangs out in the backyard. That's fine. He's away from the street. He and Charlie, I've found, laying next to each other. He likes Charlie. I think Charlie likes the added warmth of having somebody to lay next to him. And honestly, I honestly think that Charlie's only, now they're a 1.5 years, and I would bet Charlie is a good 6 to 9 months younger. But he's roughly about close to age to the kittens. So let's get this open. So Christmas was good here. I made a point of showing you know, I was still alive and well and wishing you all Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. You saw all the Doctor Who stuff. I can't get that TARDIS back in the box. I haven't figured out how all that cardboard fits around it. Because cats like to rub up against it. And because it's something that spins when it's turned on, I don't want them messing the mechanism up. Yeah. Yeah, if you're Chihuahua. Gimli he thinks us trying to catch him is a game. So if we go, come here, you, he will zoom and he'll run all completely around the house. It's not a small house. And he just zooms in circles and then stops about 4 feet in front of you where you can't quite catch him and go, come here, you, and he takes off again. So the only way to get him now is to just be quiet and just go sit down and then call him and pet him, and he'll come up to you if you're quiet and you don't say anything about come here or, you know. So he thinks it's a game now. And he loves it, and he's much calmer. He's so much muscle. He outweighs all of his other brothers, even though he's not as long as 2 of his brothers. Because definitely Aragorn and Frodo are longer, and I think Frodo's a little taller. But he being so heavy he could very easily be a bully, but he's not. He basically keeps them from getting too rough with Arwen, and now he's had to make them stop being too rough with Elrond, because Elrond is the small one. He's nowhere near as big as the others are. But if he hears things gets out of hand, you could tell because the tone changes on oh, what are you doing, laptop? But the tone will change when they wrestle and fight with each other, and you could tell when it's getting out of hand. Just like with little kids. You know, you can always tell they're squealing, they're laughing, and then there'll be a squeal that's just more of a panicked scream. And you know it. That's when you know you better go get them. So let me get in here. My channel. There we go. Now I can see the chat a lot easier because, as you can see, I'm still in the old glasses. Haven't worried about that yet. Hi, Sherry. Let me get into live chat so we can see it all properly. There we go. I'm all set up now. I was late getting down here because I was trying to play with them so that they wouldn't be as rammy. And hopefully now they'll go to bed with Mike. They've already been cuddled up with me today because I woke up with my head all full of congestion again and haven't slept well in 3 nights because my room's too cold. Time to plug in that heater, that portable heater thing. So Mike's pulled that out and put it in my room tonight. And of course, these guys all had to smell it and investigate it. Hello, Nora. How are you? I'm okay. I have allergy overload because we really in this area desperately need a good hard freeze to get some of the mold. The mold count in my area is not great, and it's from all the leaf mold bouncing around out there. So that and the paint dust from my room from the leak. Michael vacuumed my wall today to get all, because the bed's right there. He vacuumed my wall to get all the loose paint off of it. And we haven't had any more of the mold. The mold's been sprayed enough with different things, mold things, that seemed to have killed it. And then I had plugged the leak most of the way. There's still a little bit that comes through down the wall, but not anywhere near like it was. So, because it was even coming all the way, it got so bad it was draining in heavy rain. It was coming down all the way into the kitchen. And we're in 2024. We're going to start in March, February, March. We'll start calling and getting estimates about the roof. And seeing what we can do. But sorry about having to blow my nose and sound like a honking goose. It's just that it's all allergy. It's all just allergy congestion. So I've been kind of dragging today. I actually took a nap because I just didn't feel good. Mike hollered at me because I hadn't eaten anything. So he made a point of having me eat a sandwich before I went live. So now he's gone to bed. And that's where things are here. I mean, we had a good, quiet New Year. He thought about going up into Philly, but all his friends had other plans. And then he's like, well, if I go into Philly, it's going to cost about between the Uber up, the Uber back, and drinks and it's no fun doing it alone. So he said, it'd be about $90 to $100. So he just decided to to just hang out and be here. And so, two new things I saw were Tetris one and the actress who played Mrs. Banks from the original Mary Poppins, because that was oh no, I've just completely blanked on her name. Glynis Johns. I thought she had the coolest first name. Um, the original Mrs. Banks was Glynis Johns. I don't know if there's a Mrs. Banks in the Mary Poppins Returns. Don't remember. The Tetris one and the actress who played Mrs. Banks. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of movies lately, more than I think I can count, and anime, and a lot of YouTube. And usually Mike has control of the TV if we're both here, so a lot of YouTube about games. Now, I don't mind. There's one guy named Mark Pelier. Mark, I think it's a Pelier. Anyway, his is real fun watching him play games with different people because they always pick these really kind of bizarre ones. And they're always laughing at stuff. So I've seen a lot of his lately. We rewatched, because we haven't seen him in a long couple of years. We watched all of the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies. We watched the extended edition Lord of the Rings, and we watched the Hobbit movies. So we watched all of them. He got me caught up. Oh, cool. And what was the other ones we watched? He got me caught up on a lot of the Marvel movies because I had not seen a lot of the Doctor Strange ones. So I got those. I hadn't seen Ant-Man and Wasp, any of the Ant-Man movies. So he got me through all of those. And now there's what was the other one? The animated one of Spider-Man being in the Spider-Verse. Got the newest one of that because I'd seen the original one. And then there was all these weird offshoots animated ones that I've lost track of what they even were. That were, because instead of Captain Marvel, you had Miss Marvel, which was Peggy Carter. So I got very confused on those. I had no idea what was going on. And it's all about alternate universes, so I was confused. I still haven't finished my book, The Heat Will Kill You First. I've got another 50, 60 pages. What If series? Oh, okay. That might be what he had had on. We've been watching a lot of stuff because we've also been watching a lot of Doctor Who, because he got a sweetheart deal on HBO, so we'll have that for a couple of months. And then and he got Disney for a month, so we'll lose that in another week. And so we've been watching a lot of stuff that's on the Disney Channel because we wanted to see the Doctor Who episodes. We wanted to see all the specials. But I still don't know who's going to have the new season when they finally have the season. I don't know which streaming service is going to have that. So we'll find out. No, I don't want to browse my languages. You know, one thing I really miss is that when you had Netflix and you had the DVD things, you could find your history, and you could then see what you had watched. But with the streaming, there's no way to find your history, which is kind of annoying because it would be helpful. Especially when you're trying to figure out have I seen this anime or not, because sometimes they come up with things and they'll have it they won't have the English name, they'll have the Japanese name, and then I get confused because I may not always know what the Japanese name is. I thought Glynis Johns had died a long while ago. So I haven't properly seen the news in a month. She was 100? Oh my goodness. I didn't know she was still around, quite frankly. Oh, I've watched so many of her movies. Her her movies are awesome. I mean, she's mostly known for Mary Poppins and for what's the one with Danny Kaye, the court jester. She's mostly known for those two because the court jester one has the vessel with the pestle is the brew that is true, but the chalice with the palace is the brew that is poison, and they have that whole thing of getting it all mixed up. And she's mostly known for them. She's got what is it? There's a movie she did before Mary Poppins that she's a mermaid. And it is the funniest movie. And mind you, I mean, she was incredibly pretty. And she was very pretty. Let me see if it says what her movies were. No, it doesn't tag on that one. They've got The Sword and the Rose, Rob Roy, The Highland Road. Those were for Disney. I've never heard of them. Um, Court Jester. Um, she made her movie debut at only 13 in something called South Riding. Huh. And she played the title role of Peter Pan on stage at just 19. Well, she looked the part at 19. Peter Pan's supposed to look like a young one. But yeah, I don't see. Hmm. I don't see any comment of the one. There's all the stuff from the 90s she did. But yeah, there's Hi Mike. Did you get your fabric? Because that got out of here, though I have a package here that never got out of here because I got stuck upstairs. But I know yours got out. I am so glad to be back down here. Nothing looks different because I haven't been down here. Mike had to come down and he had to move a box of stuff that was right here to my left because I was stepping over that to get to the desk because it was, excuse me, it was all stuff that needed to get packed and invoiced. And with this boot on, I just can't. That left side is the side where I had the stroke. So I can't lift that leg high enough in order to get the over the box because this new boot is, while it's all high carbon fiber plastic, it has a thicker heel. It's also messing up my back a little bit because now the old boot I had, my hiking boot and that boot, I was on the same level. But now with this new boot, I'm about half an inch higher on the other side, and it is just killing my back. You didn't get it yet? I know that went out. I will have to find the thing and see about the tracking. That's it, Val Miranda. That was such a cool movie. I'm gonna miss that with Netflix not having DVDs. There were so many old black and white movies and old TV series that you can't find streaming. And oddball stuff, that you just can't find streaming. I was working my way through Doctor Who, and so I was finally up to the Patrick Troughton ones, and I have what they let you keep whatever was at your house. So I have one of the Patrick Troughton DVDs now, but I'll never get to see the rest of them unless somebody streams them. I know the BBC is streaming all of the classic series, but only in England. And I don't have a VPN, which would allow me to sneak in there. But even the way with England works, I'm not sure even that would get you in, because in England you have to have a license, a TV license, to get the BBC. I don't know how they work that. So I guess that'll be my brother's thing tomorrow morning. He'll be telling me all about how who passed away. And I'll already know. I haven't done much in my eBay store. There's only been a few little things listed, and then yesterday I got 2 more, which are oddball things. Where's the one? I have a old Blockbuster gift card. Now, it probably has no value, but I honestly don't think there's any Blockbusters left anyway. But it has this animation artwork on the front from Dragon Ball Z, which is pretty well known. And so I have that. I got that listed as an auction. And then there was something else. Oh, there was a vintage charm. It's the Statue of Liberty, but it says Statue de la Liberté, which is the French. So it's only like the size of a nickel. So it's probably something from France, but I could not find any hallmarks on that sucker. Yeah, shipping is still probably screwed up from the holidays. Definitely probably screwed up from the holidays. So, oh, I'm not quite with it because I'm just not feeling great tonight. So I don't have a topic of conversation or anything for tonight. I did make up a plan. You know, as I said at the Christmas live, Mike and I have worked up a plan of a schedule of what I need to do each day and on what day. I've had so much to do for Scouts that that plan really kicks in on Monday. It had to get bumped a week because coming back to Scouts, we had something pop up where somebody hurt their wrist and couldn't come and bring their boat. Well, not their boat, their canoe, and all the stuff he was supposed to be teaching canceled. So then I had, for the very first meeting, which was last night, or not last, yes, last night. So I had to quick come up with a plan and figure out exactly a plan going forward of what kid needs what can we do at the meeting. A lot of these kids were supposed to come in with stuff they did over the break. Only a handful did, so some of them are going to get an earful next week. Because some of them are 14, and if you want to make Eagle and you didn't join until 14, you got a lot of work to do, and we can't do it all for you. And I have put a notice on our troops Facebook group that parents, please check with your kid about what he's got to do, because they all have been assigned stuff. If they are not already first class working on STAR, they have stuff to do at home that we cannot do for them. We can't help them with it. It is stuff that is required to be done at home on their own. Give them a shove. So we'll see how that works. I've got one kid who literally just joined like the last meeting of November. I hadn't even met him. I hadn't even met the kid. And he's 14 and very shy. And I think mom's pushed him into it. And I also, so I'm not sure if he's part of that clique of 14-year-olds that all came from the one school, from the Quaker school, or not. First things I've got to do is I've got to separate him from mom when we talk about what work he's done, because she's answering for him. No, at 14, he should be able to answer for himself. So we'll work on that, But if I'm running the advancement for these lower ranks, I no longer have time to do one-on-one mentoring with the kids that are that shy. And that's definitely a drawback. But we're working on it. We just don't have enough assistant scoutmasters. we don't have enough trips. We had to cancel January's trip because the kids voted to go snow tubing. Nobody looked this up or anything, find out how incredibly expensive it is. You pay anywhere from $70 to $80, and you only get 2 hours of tubing. So that's what, maybe 6 to 8 runs down a mountain on a snow tube? And then what do you do the rest of the time? And they couldn't find a place to stay. All the places around, all the mountain places around here that do, there's only 2 that do snow tubing, and they're also ski resorts. And so everything around them is booked out already. They didn't book it back in the summer when we knew about the trip, and now it's too late. So we've had to cancel a trip. And the problem is that some of these kids need camping trips to advance. They need service time to advance. We don't have enough of either. So it's going to be a busy spring. And we have, let's see, Tom, Ross, Bill. So we have 3 Scoutmasters that aren't as active. We have one 21, is he 21 yet, or is Matt 20? Brand new assistant scoutmaster who's former Eagle Scout of the troop, who is, I mean, he's so brand new, he's still wet from the printout, you know? So we got to train him up to the culture within the troop and how things are run. He's had his scoutmaster specific training, but every troop has its own culture and how they do things. So he's got to learn all that. He knows most of it because he came up through the troop. But we got him, and then but those don't always, the group on that side doesn't always go on trips. I can't always go on a trip. So that's 6 of us that can't always go on trips. So that leaves Tony, Barry, Lisa, and then you have John and you have Mike, who go on as much as they can, but they can't always be on trips either. So we're trying to do trips with only having 5 active, truly active Scoutmasters. That's not anywhere near enough. So yeah, I've been rattling that scout tree hard. I was talking to one of the women, one of the moms, because she always comes and she'll drive 3 or 4 kids. And she stays. And I found out she's been sitting out in her car because the one kid has to get dropped off in Philadelphia. And I'm like, but he wants to be there with all his cousins. So they pick him up, or else his mother brings them down, and then she takes him home. And so they all are bilingual. They speak Chinese and English. Not all the parents have the best English, but she does. And I need an interpreter because one young man from their church, his grandfather brings him, and his grandfather doesn't know any English. That's a problem. So I'm trying to convince her to get in uniform because I need an interpreter sometimes. And she's been very willing to do that. And if she's going to be there, well, think about it. Do you like camping? Yeah. Well, then why don't you come along with us? That's how you hook everybody. Is like, if you know they like camping to begin with, then it's like, no, that's an excuse to get out and go camping. Come on, come join us. That's a great hook. So that's the only thing I've seriously been working on is, and a lot of the stuff I had to do for Scouts was, what did you do? A lot of the stuff I've had to do for Scouts has been all on the computer. It's all been emails to adults or emails to kids, where you have to also tag the parent so that your youth protection is done, because you You can't send stuff directly to the scout. You mean to an 11-year-old, 12-year-old. You know, you just don't. For use protection purposes, you always have to tag an adult. So yeah, there's been a lot of emails. And other than doctor's appointments though, and scouts, that's the only thing I left the house for. But I was not it wasn't great when I walked into scouts the first time on crutches. I do not like the thing felt like I'm made out of blown glass and gonna break any second. And that's immediately what the adults did. Yeah. No. I'm not that fragile. So things are, for the most part, looking good for this year. We'll see how it goes. It's been a challenge being stuck upstairs and literally not being able to do much because I couldn't. I mean, the first month, any moving around, I'll sneeze again, was on the crutches. So, but Mike has off tomorrow, so tomorrow I will be hopefully doing a Goodwill run. There's some stuff that is here that needs to go that we've come across, and so hopefully that will. Okay, I don't need that. What is that popping up? Oh, thank you, Nor. So hopefully that will help move some stuff out because I need my ring lights, and they're both in the dining room, and there's stuff in the way from the house clean out to get into the dining room. I have to be mindful of how much I walk around. Like I have the boot on today. I can have it off one day, on the next, off one day, on the next. And I found with standing at Scouts for that whole from like 7 to, I think by the time we walked out of there, I mean, it goes from 7 to supposedly 8:45, but you're never out of there before 9:15. Not the adults anyway. I think it was closer to 9:30 when we left there. And my legs were giving out. I'd forgotten that, when you're stuck having to recuperate that long, you lose muscle mass in all of your legs, not just your feet. So my legs were tired. So I have to make sure I get back to doing leg lifts and stuff to get that back. I go in and see about physical therapy on Monday and get this ball rolling so I can get back on my feet. 2024 is not allowed, just not allowed to have any unforeseen health problems. It's just not allowed. We have had enough, haven't we? Not just me, but I know quite a few of you have been challenged with some health things in this last year. It's just not allowed. We're just gonna nip that in the bud right now. No more surprise ones. If it's something we know we have to deal with, we're gonna deal with it. Like my hernias, we're gonna deal with it. I haven't heard back from them about getting new approvals. So that's another phone call for tomorrow. But we're gonna deal with our stuff. And we're not going to have any more of those rude surprises. I plan to stick to that as much as possible. So, has everybody else, what have you been doing over the holidays? Has anybody done anything exciting? We didn't even, we don't even get, Mike went and had dinner with his dad on Christmas Day. And then I think like the next day he went over as well. Because we don't have big family get-togethers anymore. What that usually happens, when mom passed away, then there were one or two dinners at Phyllis's house, but then her grandchildren started coming along. So, then you start going to one to the house where the grandchildren are. So yeah, it kind of breaks that up. Um, we didn't do anything special because we know there's a raccoon that has access to the attic, and he was not about to go in that doorway. Coward. It's not going to come at you. It's going to hide. So that was a bit of an issue. So we didn't have any decorations up outside. Um, but yeah, so it was really quiet this year. But he did surprise me with all that Doctor Who stuff. I was hoping he'd pick up um the Doctor Who ornament, but I was really surprised. He got me my Snoopy Scout ornament, and but then I'm opening up and there's Doctor Who ornament. That's awesome. And then there were some Totoro socks, and that was cool. And then I opened up the last box, and it was that TARDIS that spins around and plays the music, and it plays the TARDIS sound, and it has all these quotes from Tom Baker, who's my doctor. So that was awesome. Oh, Mike, you're packing to move? I am not allowed to move yet. I don't want to pack all this. No, 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 no. There will be no moving of me for a long time. No, 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 no. That's not going to happen. So, packing to move, though, the sooner you start going through your stuff, if you know you're even thinking about moving, the sooner you start, the better off you're going to be. Because look what I just went through, to the point where I exhausted myself trying to help that lady. I like her. She's a sweetheart. We're friends now. But at 82, you don't move that fast. And you've known since 2018 that the house was needed to be sold. And you just weren't ready to I guess at her age she just wasn't ready to tackle it. When you're younger, you are more, I think, willing to tackle it. But whoa. But there's always more stuff than you think you have. There really is. There's more than you think you have. And I've found that even when I was doing helping people downsize to move from a house into an apartment before, and these were people that may not have even had that much stuff, some of them, and they always had more than they thought they did once they start emptying things. You find things you have duplicates of you never realized. One of my favorites was there were bookshelves everywhere, and I could sympathize. And they kept going. He was a gentleman, and he was so upset that he'd have to give up some of his books, until I pointed out to him, like, now wait a minute here. Let's be realistic. How many of these have you read? And he said, only about half. Oh, good. That's good, Mike. Then you got a good 3 months start on it. That's always a good idea. But he knew he had to move, and he just was not happy about the books. And I asked him how many he had read, and he said at this point about half. I said, are they all on one bookshelf? He said, no, they're scattered all over. I said, okay, well, you have this great big built-in bookshelf that went down a wall in the living room. And I said, you need to switch out and get all the books you've read in here, and then and as you're doing it, take a good hard look at them. Are you sure you really want to read any of those a second time? And if the answer is no, then pack them in a box and I will take them to one of the nearest libraries for you. And by the time he did that, I was surprised. He did it and did it all in a week. He did he says he did some for a couple hours every day. He did about 3 hours every day, pulling them out and looking at them. And we filled my car. Mind you, he still had tons of books. But we filled my car because he kept, out of all those ones that he had that he'd already read, there were only 3 that he kept. They were, and I thought they were funny ones he picked. He had an original Howard Pyle Book of Pirates from when he was a child. First edition. He kept that. He had a very old copy of Swiss Family Robinson, one of my favorite books too. He kept that. It was his as a child. And then he had a book that was all children's poems, children's poetry and stuff. And he kept that. And that again was one he had from when he was a child. So those are the 3 he kept. All the other ones, all the more modern stuff that he read, he got rid of all of it. And that left him with just all the books that he still hadn't read yet. And even those, he went through those and get down. Hey, hang on a second. Hey, Elron, get down. Get down. What are you doing up there? Get down. No. Bed, kitty. No. No. Ugh. Ugh. I hear this rattling, and Elron has jumped from the floor. There's a metal shelf that's got 3 shelves, and then on top of it is another wooden shelf thing that's a bookcase that you can actually slide the doors and close it. He has leaped onto the top of that, and he's now pushing the router, rubbing his face against it, and he's pushing the router, so it's about to fall on the floor. No. Just because I took a box off of there. No. Does not mean you get to do that. But even the stuff that this gentleman hadn't read, tastes change. And you may have a book that you've had sitting around with the intent to read for quite a few years. And he found books like that he thought, you know what? I had wanted to read this for my job. I don't really need this anymore. And he purged out a bunch of those too. So it can be pure hell. If you're on a tight timeline, it's really hell. I have to admit, if it's a tight timeline, it is hell. I have always told people to look at it as a bit of a treasure hunt, because now with clearing everything out and deciding what to pack, you're going to find things that you maybe forgot you had. You can also then start making choices about what do you really, really want to take to the new place that's going to fit in with how you want the new place to be. William Morris said there should be nothing in a home that is not purposeful, useful, or pleasing to the eye. I think I'm not sure the word purposeful was what he used, but basically it was stuff that was utilitarian, the stuff you have to have because of its use, that has its specific purpose. No mixer is beautiful looking, but it has a purpose and you need it. No oven is gorgeous, but it has a purpose and you need it. Other things you just find as useful. You don't 100% need to have them, but they're useful. So, so those you have. And then the rest should be stuff that is pleasing to your eye, that it makes you, happy when you walk into that room and see it. And moving is a good time to start thinking of that and maybe upgrading something that you have that you've, worn out somewhat, or just changing up how you decorate because now you've found stuff that you forgot you had and now you can pull it out and enjoy it. I can't wait till the day we can decorate this room because I want to pull out all the Japanese stuff I've got. So hang in there, Mike. I know it's not easy. Remember to give yourself breaks outside the house. Now that's hard to do. Winter is here. But in packing for moving, I have found that it tends to get very frustrating, very claustrophobic, very much too much adrenaline. You're in that fight. It almost seems like it triggers you to be in that fight or flight response where there's just too much, and you get too tense and frustrated with it. And the best thing you can do is to make sure that you have some time where during the day where you get out of the house, even if it's just a walk up and down the street, or take one day a week where you go out and stay out of the house for over an hour. Go to the local library and sit and read or play on your phone, whatever, because you're gonna need that break from all the visual. First off, there's a lot of clutter it creates and a lot of mess it creates pulling stuff out and packing it. And the only thing that helped this 82-year-old get through all that was that I told her the same thing. You need to give yourself a break. And so she would she'd set the timer on her phone, and she did it twice a day because she would start work at 8 o'clock in the morning and keep going until 9 o'clock at night. And that was hard because she had problems with her legs where they would swell. And so I know some days she was in pain. She wasn't letting it stop her because she needed to get done. But it definitely helped her mood and gave her a boost. She said it helped give her a boost of energy, is that she would take 15-minute breaks. And she usually would take one in the morning. That one didn't always happen. Some days it did. And then she'd have two in the afternoon, one right after lunch, and then one right after dinner. And she would go outside and just putter in the yard for 15 minutes. Oh, okay. A good source for boxes? Go find the liquor store. They usually have a lot of boxes. Get to know whoever is in the local beer distributor or liquor store. They usually have a lot of boxes you can get because boxes are expensive. The Home Depot boxes, I cannot recommend them at all because they're all completely collapsing on me and stuff, piles are falling over. They're not, or they rip when you try to. I've had the handles just rip right off trying to lift them. Even without that much weight in them, they're just a bit too flimsy. U-Haul boxes, some of the storage unit places, U-Haul boxes work really well and stay really sturdy. Haven't ever had any problems with those. They're not inexpensive. None of these that you buy are inexpensive, but if you have glass and breakables and stuff, I would say get the small U-Haul boxes. Don't even bother with the large because the large are so big that if you filled them, you wouldn't be able to pick them up because their large boxes are large boxes. They're huge. We had two, and the only thing she finally ever used them for was to put all the pillows in them, all the pillows from the beds. Because we couldn't, anything else we put in there, we couldn't lift it. To try those places, I have a lot of books from when I moved for college. I had a lot of boxes that I went to Walden Books. I had worked there. And I had a lot of boxes from the bookstore because their shipping boxes are good and sturdy and they're not super large. They might only be, I think they're only about 8 inches deep, but they're really good size for heavier things. in that it's manageable, and if it's books, they're stackable, because the secret with books is don't leave any room for them to slide. You don't want any of the weight shifting, and then they're really nicely stackable. I've got stacks of them in the attic still with books in them that I never, when I move back in, have yet to be able to unpack. So there's all the hints I know of for boxes. I hope that helps you some. So, did anybody make any New Year's resolutions? I haven't done any of those in a long time. I don't bother. I used to, and now I'm like, I'm not going to make resolutions. I'm just going to get on with my day and set goals that are realistic and try to, I don't know, calling them a resolution just seems like it's already doomed to failure for some reason, because the general expectation in our society is that you make a resolution for New Year's and you're not going to do it. So it's already a cultural thing to expect to not do it. So I was like, yeah, I'm just not even going to bother. I'm just going to make up a business plan that I've got to follow and try to get more organized, because I have to, for my life, for my house, for my finances. I have to. So I'm just going to do what I had already started doing before I messed up my foot. So, so far it's worked for some things. I've overhauled a lot of stuff in scouting, in how I handle advancement. There's only one thing I didn't do, and that's because I do not have the technology skills to do it. We have, in scouting, there's a thing called Scout Book, which is run by National Boy Scouts, and it has a lot of weird ways that it does the printout for an advancement sheet. And the back of the sheet is just about empty. But there's nowhere on that sheet to put when the kid got what was their job, their position of responsibility from when to when. There's, oh yeah, paying for movers is a lot of money. There's nowhere to put when they got their totem chip, their cyber chip, when they got their, are they a member of the Order of the Arrow? When did they get that? When did they get the Brotherhood? It doesn't have any extra room for extra merit badges above and beyond what you need for Eagle, which you can get palms. There's a special award for doing 5 more merit badges above and beyond, and there's a different palm for every 5 more you do. And there's nowhere on this sheet, but the old sheets I have room for all that, but it doesn't have some of the new requirements that they've added to some of the ranks. So I have 2 separate sheets for each kid, and I know how I would like to combine them, but I don't know enough about doing that, creating a document like that. That's not like writing a letter. To be able to actually combine the 2 and get one, just one that I like, that I can work with. So that's a challenge. I need to make a draft of one, and then I guess just start asking in the troop if any parent knows how to do that. Surely there's one of these parents who knows how to do it. Maybe even one of my fellow scoutmasters. I just have no clue. Come on, I'm from the generation where, in high school, the closest thing we had to a computer was a CRT machine, which basically was a glorified typewriter with a computer screen and a floppy disk that was the size of a 45 record. So I don't know how to do any of that. Not a clue. Oh, you watch Doctor Who from that cross-eyed Doctor Who. Who was cross-eyed? Not sure which one that would be. So let's see here. Oh, that's interesting. That's not good. Half my bookmarks have disappeared. Better not have eaten the. You did, didn't you? Oh, you rat. Something happened with an update and it ate half of my bookmarks. Where are my bookmarks for Japanese potters? I use that one all the time. Oh, you bugger. You've eaten my bookmarks somehow. That's not good. No, so not good. Oh no. So, 1970s. Yeah, I was born in 65. Graduated high school at 19. Should have graduated before that, but Mike, your package says it was delivered in November. Oh, right before the holiday, November 22nd. Well, we'll talk about that in an email. But yeah, I mean that was the height of what they had. I mean, they were still teaching you how to do not the mimeograph machine, dictaphone. In 1984, 83 and 84, they were still teaching us how to use a dictaphone, where the guy, it basically is a recorder. Your boss would record what they wanted as a letter, you would listen to it, you would type what you heard. So the typing teacher didn't know what to do with me because I wasn't the fastest, but I was the most accurate. And she kept saying about how, she's gonna have to fail me. And I'm like, why? She goes, well, she says, your speed is the lowest in the class. I says, is it still over what it should be? And she said, well, it is barely. And I said, well, then what's my accuracy? And she said, well, to be fair, you have the highest accuracy in the class. And I'm like, yeah, so what good is it to type fast if you don't have a high accuracy? Because then you have to keep typing it over again because you've screwed up. I like to type it once and be done. So she passed me with a B. She decided that it wasn't going to be all on speed alone. That was what they were scoring you on, which to me was stupid. That when she went back and looked at how high my accuracy was for 90% of my projects were done the first time with 100% accuracy. And so once she averaged it out, I had a B. So I passed. So I will never be the fastest fingers because I've never memorized the keyboard. I have some of it, but I'm not that good at it. But the nice part of one of the things that they taught us back then is the keyboard with the number pad. And I don't ever want a keyboard that doesn't have a number pad. The days are coming when I'm not going to have one because it's just so much easier. Because there's so many things I have to do where I've got to enter in numbers, and it's just easier for me to have the number pad. But I'm old. Oh, I hear a little kitty. That was not Elrond because I could hear feet. That's either Aragorn or Gimli. I heard one of them come down the staircase. I don't know which one. I hear crunching, so they're in the kitchen getting something to eat. I think these guys get fed too much, but they run around so much, they're not getting very heavy, so. So I am so sorry, though, that we didn't get to have our party. I really wanted to have the birthday party blast and the Christmas sale And now I have to figure out what's going on because cats, while I was upstairs, knocked over the box with the Christmas stuff back there. But luckily, they did not get to this in its original box. So this is still, you can see the frosting on there because this thing is beautiful and really old. So I'm so thankful that this is intact. However, there was a Santa head candle. The container was a Santa head in, and then the wax candle was inside, and that is in pieces back there. So hopefully, I don't think there was anything else breakable other than this. So I'm hoping. And I also noticed that several things from up top there are missing, including a very heavy bronze statue of some donkeys. So they've been pretty active down here making messes. They think it's fun. They sometimes get the zoomies and chase each other, and then God help you, because they'll go anywhere. And it's not good. It's not always good. So, sinuses. So I've been on for an hour. I'm gonna go make this one a short one because, like I said, I'm not feeling 100%, and I do not want this to turn into a cold. And I could tell the medicine's wearing off because it's draining down the back of my throat, and my voice is starting to crack. So I'm gonna go, and I will see you guys next week. I have to check. Well, I mean, for right now, we're just going to do alternate. So next week will be a sale, small one. I'll probably just have 10 items. Keep it small and short. Because after all, I don't know what days I'll have therapy. I don't know how that's going to go. But we'll keep the sales small and short for right now, of just 10 items each time. And because I need to clear through all this, get all this straightened out now that I'm back and able to at least come up and down the steps each day. But I do have to watch how long I stand on my feet. And so that's the plan going forward. And it won't be this week, but I'm also trying to set up a schedule, and I want to get a bunch of things filmed. I never finished all those old magazines, so that there's different videos that can drop during the week. I do want to get back to having Sunday lives where you work with me and we get stuff done. That's not yet. I need those lights. Hello, junking data girl. I need my lights, and they're all in the dining room. And I can't get into the dining room anymore because it's all stuff from the house clean out. So that's the basic plan for right now. If I have to tweak the schedule of alternating sales and live chats due to a holiday coming up, I will. I didn't check to see far enough out to see if we run into July 4th. Because that's the next biggest holiday where there would be stuff I have to do with scouts and whatnot. And I don't know what day it falls on. So next week will be the sale. Just 10 items. We're going to keep the sales short and small for right now. Just a few things, maybe a chat afterwards. And I'm going to try to get some videos so that I can get back to having videos post on a Wednesday and maybe on a Saturday. Fingers crossed. Like I said, we have a whole business plan now figured out. And I did find out I don't need an LLC. I just need to register with the state as a small business. So I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to get some stuff taken care of for the new year. I still need to figure out an accounting program that's pretty easy and not super expensive. So that's still gotta. I have not. I've looked at a lot of them online. GoDaddy has stopped, so they're not. I was all set to get them, and then they no longer are around. So that's a problem. But I'm still working on finding one. Some of the things I've looked at are way out of my price range for an accounting program. So if you know of one, let me know. Because I really, other than getting a literal, I had basic bookkeeping in high school, and right now I've been trying to keep things, but I don't have a ledger book that would have enough spots for what everything you got to put in. Because to do it right, you would have to put in, say, an eBay sale, what the cost of goods was. You put in the price you got for it, and then you have to put in your cost of goods, the fees, the taxes, all that happy, fun stuff. So I'm not so great at actual accounting stuff. They didn't teach me that. They just taught me basic bookkeeping. And I'm not to the point yet where I'm going to be having an accountant of my own. So we will get there. We will get there. I have gotten through more boxes of things that Mom had packed away that were clothing. It was kind of funny finding a box of clothes of Mike's that were probably from when he was 10 or 11 years old. So my brother dropped a lot of those off at the shelter for battered women with children downtown in the actual city of Chester. So that definitely will have helped them out. They told my brother that they often get clothes for girls. They don't often get clothes for boys, which was quite a surprise. So they were quite happy to get those things. So I still have other stuff in the house though that needs to get down to other things in downtown. I've still got a huge bag of seeds for City Team for their community garden. But we'll get it all squared away, a little bit at a time, so I don't overdo the foot. I want that to heal, and so I'm gonna go, and I will. Sunday might be a day trip with Scouts, so they have another event. I haven't heard back yet if that's definitely going to happen. If it is, I need to go. So I'm not sure they'll be alive on Sunday, but there definitely will be a small sale on Thursday night at 11. But by all means, if you want to shop, you can always look up so many others. I mean, there's Sandy and Otto. Of course, there's Misty, but she's huge. She has plenty of people. But Trisha at Sandy and Otto. Steph sells stuff at the seashore is usually late night. If you're around at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock Eastern time, is Patrick from Trusty Huckster Mercantile. Is he back doing things at night on Thursdays? And there's also Sweet Sugar Britches Sweet Ass Stuff. Yes, that's actually the channel name. There's 3 E's, I think, in Sweet. Or is that just her email? But Lori Ann and her husband, they have some of the most amazing ephemera. They do an ephemera sale every week. Fantastic stuff. And a lot of us have channels that you can just check out and watch our videos. So, and thank you all very much for those of you who are have a membership for my channel. I thank you very much. Some of you over the holidays sent me buy me a coffee. I thank you for those 3. And the cats are still not quite sure what to do with those kitty crack. Oh, the catnip. Couldn't think of the right word. With the catnip lollipops. Because they just haven't gotten the idea that you're supposed to lick it.
but they chew the heck out of the silver vine handle. They haven't quite figured out that they're supposed to lick those lollipops. So, but they thank their auntie that sent them. They are having fun batting them down the staircase. We have to pick them up at night, or they will decide to bat them down the staircase. So I will see you guys if I'm not able to go live on Sunday. That's a very big if I can do that or not. But I will be back on Thursday night next week, and hopefully I will have a video up before then. And so you guys all have a good night. If this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos, by all means, like and subscribe. We are on a journey here. I've inherited a ton of stuff, and we are on a journey to empty it out and cheerlead you to get you through your own stuff. If you decide that you want to take a hard look at what you've got, if you feel you've got too much, it's a process. After all, none of our houses got filled magically overnight. The elves didn't bring it all in, so it's not going to empty itself magically overnight, and that's okay. Just do what you can as you can. You just keep moving forward. So with that in mind, keep moving forward this week, and I'll see you Thursday night. Good night, everybody.